But to give you the full story of their head-to-head, opening played nicely, breaks of 97, 78, 76 and 57. The Players' Championship, your good friend Mark Allen lifted the trophy, but you were defending champion.
Players' Championship way back when I won it in Dublin and didn't get to defend it the next year. It's one of those idiosyncrasies of the Players' Series with the reducing field events. Normally the defending champion would come back as #1. You know, I haven't done well enough this year to deserve my place in them, so I go to the World Open. As we see the fluke there, the raise of the hand from Elliot, I go to the World Open in a couple of weeks. I think I need to win it or get to the final.
I will say this, you played very nicely at the Tour Championship, but at the Players' the World Championship.
Oh yeah, without question. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, definitely. You know, I had the week of my life there. Here, looks like it's pretty congested. Not sure if it'll go on the black spot either. With the Tour. Nice to see him.
As indeed is. Almost sure there's going to be no controversy.
90.
Away, but I'm sure he would have played for that by now if it was available. Trying to get on the red next to the black here. Yeah, couldn't chance pretty quickly here for Elliot. Black, one of the oldest cliches in the book. Kiss on the... Yeah, may not have gone for it. Missed it by so far. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but that kiss on the brown. Well, he's not played it, so I can only assume that the natural angle would have collided with the pink.
Argument for a possible re-rack is there when the black is over the pocket like that, because the reds tend to congregate around it. I know you're at the Welsh Open, Sean. What about that match that struggled to...
That was one for the purists, wasn't it? A lovely shot from O'Sullivan there. Really, really nicely played. Appreciated by Elliot as he comes to the table. That was nicely done. Player that was off the tour not that long ago. And who knows how many other players that type of run might encourage in their own journey.
Enough, Elliot Slessor in the semi-final with a superbly constructed and very composed century in the decider.
To what end?
And the other interesting dynamic here being 33 ahead.
In the black in, so choosing this red over here. No risk with this one. Played it nicely. And Ronnie, when he be careful, one of the reds doesn't knock the black in. Just caught that a little bit on the thin side.
Championship League back in the summer here. Mahai Long against Mink Nutcherat. It was obvious it was going to be a re-rack. The referee stepped in. This much less obvious. It could be resolved.
Yeah, but when the balls end up near the cushions, such as this, it's always straightforward to just come off a cushion and rest up to a red. There's absolutely no risk here.
Situation, he will give both players a certain number of shots.
And tell me, Phil, where do you think the onus lies here? Does the responsibility lie to move the game on? Is it in Ronnie's hands as the one who's trailing to come and chase the game? Or is it Elliot's? Is it...
The referee gave them a certain number of shots.
Hit enough of that red. That tells me that when they're playing with side spin, the cue ball isn't taking the path that they're intending it to. That's what we call heavy when they can play that way. But the players will adapt to that as the day goes on. Yeah, I've always found that a funny one in terms of re-racks. Be casing player to come get him, but that doesn't seem to be the overriding opinion. Everyone else seems to think it's the other way, which I'm happy to debate. But
well, Clive Everton, for many years, the great commentator, had the idea into the restart. That seems to make sense to me.
Put Elliot in a bit of trouble here, but he's trying to get on the red. Here's the pink. Looks a bit wide. I just wonder whether...
Wow.
You know, not that long ago, just would have had no interest in this type of frame. Just wouldn't have carried on into, you know, would have just hit a red to the black, probably on purpose to move the frame on, you know. Reshaped his game. He's really evolved as a player.
Good safeties you play, the better you have it in terms of giving yourself break-building chances. Yes, everyone loves to pot balls and score heavy. What's the best way to do it?
Oh, the black nearly went in there. We can't see the players. But this is the problem with what you were saying. You get two players who are willing to stand there all day and do this. This is what happens. The balls go really messy. See Ronnie there trying to progress play on. Try. And so it's Elliot Slessor that has won that little war. So, not putting the bunting out just yet, frame one. A nice pot on the red. Value to pot in this pink. Yeah. Good shot.
That's a 40.
Well, O'Sullivan's intentions are very clear.
Yeah, that was a strange passage of play that I don't think I've ever seen anyone. I'm not sure about that one. Oh, great shot. That's a great shot though. The blue knocking the black over the pocket. Yeah, nicely played. As I say, this is all from that shot. Is that within the rules, Phil?
Well, Paul Collier, yes, maybe it's his prerogative. Tell you what, if he clears up here, that could give him the freedom of the city. When he came to the table, nothing at all.
Yeah, fabulous
70.
shot. Just sometimes certain professionals, myself included, sometimes finish practice sessions by literally getting the reds and wherever they finish, trying to do it from here. And as you say, freedom of the city if he clears up from here.
Was then against Dave Harold, first session. It was scary.
31.
Whilst having blue ball position. He's just come right across that, played that with loads of left to try and fizz the cue ball in behind the yellow.
Sullivan 31.
Missed it by so far. Nicely played. You could see the determination etched on the face. Straight in the heart of the pocket.
5.
25.
It's Slessor 5.
He might have wanted to get on with it. Trying to move that black into a more favourable snookering position, but he's offered up this chance for Elliot to put this frame to...
Which he does.
4. 9. Elliot's Slessor 9 and a frame.
That, by Ronnie O'Sullivan's satisfying frame. It's the familiar figure of Ronnie O'Sullivan, who's the star attraction in Group 7 of the Bet Victor Championship League. He's already gained a victory. That might erect it. Well, it's level pegging over there, 1-1.
To dislodge the one next door.
7.
I like the one Ronnie played on the blue because he finished high on that red on you. Very easy, I think. Actually, sometimes we do play for specific reds to finish in specific positions.
20.
And sure,
A lot. But it probably doesn't get said enough. No time at all. We almost went to a deciding frame. And it's not just the panache and the class and the shot selection as well. And of course, he never looks like he's rushing. And that primarily, I don't think the stats necessarily back that up. Ronnie's cue ball control is the best we've ever seen.
45.
Sequence because you may need to dislodge some more reds.
53.
Getting more angle on this pink. Could only play for that loose red now. And will that... lovely control again on
60.
that cue ball across the table. Green, brown and green. And in no time at all.
66. 74.
describe O'Sullivan. And I think it's entirely apt. Plus another 242.
89.
From a limited schedule.
90.
And it would be the 16th season.
7. 98.
Per group.
105.
Of course, it's one of the idiosyncrasies of this event that there's no crowd. And so it's met with zero applause. Maybe a tap on the table from, tap on his leg from Elliot out there.
111. 114. 118. 120. Sullivan 129.
Will not see a more games in this match. They've been Cherry venue here in Leicester on March 12 and 13. Originally, the winners' group was supposed to be played on Friday and Saturday of this week, but of course, we moved the winners' group. And Sean, it's always wise to pot balls like that.
Send this cue ball around the table, looking to Yeah, you see there with the right-hand side on the cue ball, widening its arc into the side cushion nicely on. Well, preferring just to stroke it in. It's in the first frame. Maybe he'll go on and make a few here.
And that 5% of uncertainty as the ball's going towards the pocket, especially in important
Sometimes a real basic shot just goes in. You think, how did that happen? What was different there? What did I nearly do wrong there? The red nearest the black, trying to push that to the corner. And he's very, very unlucky there. See that red?
He thought he had the
50. Leaves the cue ball there. He only leaves this red should he miss it. And that's exactly what's where. Played that nicely. Playing ball across the table for choice of reds. And now if you can. And obviously.
Well, that's the black that Sean highlighted before. He's had now, though.
In here, you'd think Elliot's only saving grace in this frame will be the red that's attached to that right hand. So despite trailing, I think Ronnie favourite here. That red was always high.
On a club table, I have seen during the course of the season.
Yeah, it's a funny one. It's incredible that that design and that tech hasn't changed, and we haven't come up with a way of keeping tables. Yeah, it's been a complete game changer, that. As we see Elliot thread the cue ball through the baulk colours perfectly onto this red by the pink. Yeah, to be able going to get a kick is
26.
Well, I'll tell you what.
33.
Well, it's not. Given his state and is not having things. We've had plenty of stuff to talk about. Next up, by the way, that would be a real boost.
well, you can see he didn't play that. Sort of tried to cover his bets there a little bit, and nicely played. And it has to be said, Phil, you know, I suppose it's not quite accurate to say he was the first to play with the opposite hand, but he's certainly the best. People forget how good he is with the rest. It's so infrequently, you don't see it.
Well, if you're saying that, Sean, the conversation who was the very best, you're always in it.
I mean, obviously, he's not.
What was really interesting here this week, for the most part, was struggling. But his rest play never deteriorated. Was suspect. Until the final, his rest play was out of this world.
As well, there's quite a bit of footage on his socials with his family, which is nice to see. But Kyron, very, very strong, at the greatest of seasons. I'm sure in events. Plays that shot better than anyone.
42.
Plays it on and off the cushion. Trying to middle to give himself options. That wasn't by luck, that was by design. And again, a choice of reds.
I know, Sean, you're good pals with
55.
Mark Selby. Did you speak just to the results? It was the way it was achieved. I thought it was magnificent from Selby.
Right, Mark Selby off at your peril, don't you?
63.
Been playing like that since we were boys. Four-time world champion, one of irresistible. Players coming into good form just at the right time of year, Phil. Being for a very interesting cruise.
$79. $100.
Three figure. It's far from one. It's going all the way. Will he be in a good mood or not? Always breaks off left-handed, Sean. Any scientific reason?
Yeah, it's a funny one with the red by the black. Well done, expertly played.
One.
I seem to remember Ray being of the opinion, in a bit like golf, that might be why Ronnie chooses to break from between brown and yellow, but use the other hand. I think he's always done his own thing.
7.
Thing is, these days, though, is spirit.
Yeah, and the game's every part of that equation has changed. And Doug Mountjoy playing in pot black, breaking off against Pullman. He breaks off and almost reset this match. It is amazing that we haven't yet, as a body of play.
Well, don't want to goad you into controversy, Sean, but
Started, isn't it? It's just to start the frame, and that's all that does. You have to decide if you think the break-off's an attacking shot or a... He didn't lose many frames by doing it. And that, of course, is that's the job, isn't it?
the essence of this is that Slessor's got a great chance to get the verdict.
30.
You would think players would know better, but even at
Round playing the game, I think they would, if they could see the way the game's played today and the risks that players take, would they?
But I think the ones who were impressed would be the correct ones.
Two cushions. He's still on the shred, but not as he meant to be. Now he needs a good angle on the colour here. Wants to avoid the brown, and if he does get past the brown, he'll be perfect on it, and he is. The game over. Well, he didn't get the cannon as played. But of course, as we always say, he got the pot, and that means he can play the first safety shot. Very, very. You can see he's playing it with left-hand side, and that just means pairing the cue ball away from the red as it comes down the table. Such a skillful shot that Ronnie's just played. Looks like a nothing shot. Get round the blue. Caught it way too thin. Needs cover. Needs cover. Hasn't got it. So that great safety.
think he'd enjoy building a decisive break here, considering the way it was created.
Because there's a correct sequence, you have to take the reds in to make the breaks.
8.
You can see, purposely played the angle on the pink to get to the red on the black spot, on the next colour to get to the other side of the table for the red in the opposite pocket by the black,
15.
which he's got perfectly on the pink. Rest on the black that Ronnie's about to play after this next red.
That's why you wanted to make that as simple as possible. And
30.
Down in the balls. 43 points at his mercy now.
Two-session final at the Welsh Open. Beating him over any distance is an achievement. Make that 18, so the brown is from
50.
what we've seen. Sean, he's not here on a jolly.
55.
That was a brilliance and